Man, I was watching those ads go by. Have you gotten to draft Tempest Remastered at all?
I did the preview stream, but that's the only one I've done so far. I actually didn't get to play Magic that much last week. Josh Layton was visiting me, and surprisingly enough, we actually didn't really prioritize playing Magic. We did stream on Monday the one time and did do limited resources, but Matt Nass actually works here in Denver now, so we got a nice basketball game going, and for the first time, I could actually tell Paul that I couldn't be on Magic TV because of basketball, and have it be the truth because I tell him that every week. So
I have certainly done plenty of Tempest Remastered drafts myself.
yeah.
I've been enjoying the format. It's also cards from back when I was really good at Magic, so I may be biased on the subject. My wife's actually been drafting it a bunch too. She was kind of a PTQ top 8 level player back in the 90s. All right. Meanwhile, semifinal time. Number 3 ranked in the world, Owen Turtenwald. Number 15 ranked in the world, Josh Utter-Layton. We get to watch Josh's take on Jeskai against Owen's Mardu Dragon's deck. Looks like Owen's on 6 cards.
Owen's been on 6 cards almost every game so far, but I guess that hadn't hurt him in his first match. So Josh's hand desperately needs a third land. I mean, it's a fine hand. Certainly you keep it, but if it's the sort of hand where, I mean, when you keep a 2-lander and you don't draw a third land, you can be in trouble. Though Owen is actually not going to apply all that much pressure. His game plan now is land, go, maybe cast a removal spell until you get Storm Breath.
Pretty much. All right. Well, we're telling these guys we're ready. Hopefully they will start momentarily.
Well, maybe Owen's deciding what to play turn 1. It's actually kind of difficult. Now he's got a tap land and 2 untapped lands. So
is Owen the one who's on the play?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
You can look at the turn slider, and it says turn 1 Quaz.
Got it.
However you say Owen's name, it's not actually pronounceable.
I don't think it was designed to be pronounced.
Well, actually, the way you do it, if you look at your keyboard, it's QAZW. Like it just goes down as keywords. I guess.
Down as diagonals. Got it.
That's what he said. I don't actually know if that's how it works, but
there must be some pattern. I would hate to have to type that in. You're like,
yeah,
playing on.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
All right. It's like they have now noticed that we're ready for them. It was nice to talk to Jerry, though. I was happy with that interview.
Oh, yeah. I was super excited to see Jerry win the Mox. I mean, Jerry's just one of my favorite players and favorite people. And, like, you know, it's awesome having him back playing in events, and it's awesome having him win the Mox. Every time someone I know wins a tournament like that, it's just great.
Yeah, I didn't realize he needed the Pro Tour invite, too. I know that he got to bank 1 Pro Tour invite when he took the internship at Wizards of the Coast. You know, he was qualified. I think he was gold at the time?
Was gold, and he basically gave up a year of invites.
Yeah.
So he got 1 back. I mean, which I think is very reasonable.
But yeah, I guess he gets to bank that one. Maybe he was planning to use that at Vancouver and now doesn't need to. Is that how this plays out?
I would assume so. I mean, I don't know if there's a hard and fast rule, but given that he had an invite and then won another invite, I would hope he would get to push it off.
Yeah, I would think so.
But I mean, again, there's no hard and fast rules, but it seems very fair given that Owen or Jerry did give up, voluntarily a bunch of invites. So
yeah, no, that's pretty fair. Since like Josh is the one who is not currently.
Owen types in the chat, "My hand stinks. I hope I win." I mean, it is accurate. I believe Owen hopes he wins, and his hand is not good.
All true statements.
I mean, Owen's best hope is for Josh not to draw a third land. Even if Josh does, Owen could draw spells and lands in a good mix and win the game. That is generally how Magic works.
Yep, Owen leads with the tri-land. Pretty straightforward. Josh, the white-bordered mountains are so tilting. He's gone out of his way to make his land ugly, right? Oh, there's the third land.
Well, he's got the Onslaught Flooded Strand, so I can't really argue with that. And here Josh doesn't play Flooded Strand turn 1, I think indicating that he's happy to draw Planesward Island here.
Foul Tongue Invocation for Owen, so now he can kill the first 2 creatures, which is both of them.
Unfortunately for Owen, his Storm Breaths don't match up well against those Stokes. I mean, Owen is down on cards, what it looks like is going to happen here is Josh is going to trade his creatures for Owen's removal. Then Owen's going to play Storm Breaths and get them stoked. Then Josh is going to cast Dig Through Time and win the game. Of course, the chat is filled with people typing out Owen's username now.
Owen also enjoying the whiteboarded basics from Josh.
His lands are so awful.
I like their running commentary from Owen. It's good to have a third voice here in the booth.
Yeah, Owen's great.
Meanwhile, yes, Draconic Roar takes out Soulfire Grandmaster. Dragon gets revealed to deal 3 damage.
Owen plays and leaves land mana on tap for Foul Tongue. Wouldn't be surprised if Josh actually does not play Rabble Master here, just plays a tap land. It's just Owen's definitely signaling having a removal spell, and you do get a reward for playing Rabble Master when their opponent can't kill it immediately.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Owen certainly wants to do Foul Tongue Invocation on the Rabble Master before it makes a Goblin token. Of course.
Oh yeah, he doesn't
Big
really
difference between being able to do that and then letting the Goblin token live.
And losing the game.
Pretty much.
And so it looks like Josh is going to opt to pass on casting a spell here. Looks like he found another Goblin Rabble Master, though, which I think is a reasonable card to keep here.
I would think so. What else are you digging for, right?
Yeah.
Second dig through time? I mean, not a lot of draws that are a lot better.
So what looks like is Owen is going to pass. Josh is going to play Rabble Master and Temple. It's going to get Foul Tongued. Owen's going to tap out for Storm Breath. Josh is then going to go second Rabble Master and stoke the Storm Breath and just be very far ahead.
Owen looking at, is that Thunderbreak?
Yeah, which I imagine you'd keep. I mean, you don't really have a better option.
It's a big flying dragon. I mean, that's kind of where he wants to be at this point. I mean, Polygon might be better, but...
Yeah, it's not called Mardu Dragons for no reason.
Right.
I guess Owen's one advantage is he is going to be up on life.
Josh just goes for Rabble Master here, right?
Yeah, I mean, you left Rabble Master on top. Knowing this Rabble Master is going to get killed, Owen's going to have a stop set during Josh's main phase here to cast Foul Tongue Invocation, revealing Storm Breath once again.
Josh has now seen that Storm Breath twice, so he's certainly expecting Owen to tap out for it on turn 5.
I don't mind keeping a Soulfire Grandmaster here, actually. Owen happy enough to play Storm Breath, but yeah, this is just going to work out pretty well for Josh. I think I'd prefer to play Rabble Master, make a token, stoke that way. You don't gain the 4 life off the Soulfire, but you do get a little bit more of an advantage because you played the Rabble Master and you get a token. It sets up next turn so much better. It is more conservative to play Soulfire Grandmaster, though.
Yeah, he's going to stoke the Storm Breath either way.
For sure, that's like a forced play. But yeah, I like playing the Rabble Master here.
Josh seems to agree with you. And now the trick is he wants this token to get created, but before it taps to attack, he's going to tap it for the Convoke on Stoke.
Oh, brutal. Josh did not have a stop set.
Uh-oh.
I was just going to mention you have to make sure you have a stop set on Magic Online to do this, but so now Josh is going to play Soulfire Grandmaster. Yeah. And, you know, Owen gets to, like, play a second Storm Breath and attack for 8 here.
Yeah, Owen had the stop set on Josh's main phase so that he could kill the Rabble Master before it makes the token. But you actually have to have a stop set in your own begin combat phase to get that Goblin in play with an opportunity to cast Stoke. It's not a... Your own begin combat phase is not... Or step, sorry. Is not a normal place to have a stop, but...
Yeah.
Rabble Master causes all kinds of extra stops that need to be set.
Yeah, I actually think Josh is going to be fine here.
Yeah?
Owen gets to attack
2 Stokes, right?
Yeah, Owen gets to attack Josh down to 3, but then next turn Josh can just double Stoke, go back up to 11 and kill both dragons, and then have Dig Through Time up. So it's not the end of the world. I mean, it's obviously much worse for Josh this way, but you know what? Actually, the life totals end up about the same because you just have Soulfire in play for both Stokes instead of just one, even though you took an extra 4 off the hit of Storm Breath. And Josh can't quite cast Dig Through Time, though. I guess if he draws a land, he can actually also cast Dig Through Time.
Jeez.
Kind of impressive.
All right. Well, here's Storm Breath Dragon number 2 for Owen. crunches over for 8 damage, dropping Josh to 3. He's not happy about that Soulfire Grandmaster. Kind of
Actually,
hoping.
this works out better for Josh because the soul. I mean, it's much riskier. Josh wouldn't have played it this way, in a normal game. But like, because the Soulfire Grandmaster's in play, Josh could potentially even attack with it this turn. Though, given that you're gaining 8, maybe you just cast the 2 digs, or cast the dig, cast the 2 Stokes and then the dig, leaving 2 mana untapped. It's actually kind of perfect. It's funny how this works out. I assume Josh has the stop set now, though.
All right. Here's the Rabble Master trigger at the beginning of combat. And yes, now those goblins attack if able, but we aren't yet at the point where they need to attack, so Stoke the Flames can convoke them.
Josh could have also bought back Stoke. That seems excessive, though. Actually, now that I think about it, I like this attack better, and then you just Stoke the second Storm Breath, because then next turn you can buy back Dig. You can actually cast Dig with buyback, which is kind of the dream. You can activate Soulfire Grandmaster, then cast Dig.
Oh, what does Rabble Master off the top do to the math?
I would imagine Owen still just plays Thunderbreak here. Because if you play Rabble Master, you can't. Like, Soulfire Grandmaster still gets to attack you, probably. Though you could play Rabble Master and activate the Haven. I would probably just play Thunderbreak, though. Owen is in a lot of trouble, even though Josh, had that one turn not go quite as planned.
Man, he can Soulfire Grandmaster to buy back Dig through time? That's actually a thing that's going to happen here?
Yeah. Seems like a very reasonable play, especially after you attack with, like, the Rabble Master and the 3 Goblins. You're not that close to dying.
So you attack with Rabble Master here. You're content to trade it for Thunderbird, right?
Given that you're drawing, 4 of your top 14 cards, you're going, two out of 7, 2 out of 7. You're very happy trading and keep making sure everyone's life total is nice and high.
Now, if you're Owen, you take this trade? Kind of have to?
You can't outrace it, especially not with a Soulfire Grandmaster in play. I don't. You don't feel good about it. You're not winning this game, but I think you're better off trading. Owen can't even play pre-combat Rabble Master because Soulfire Grandmaster can just block the token. So, yeah.
Owen does play the Rabble Master. Plays his Tri-Land. He's empty-handed. Josh knows it. But still the right play. Now, here comes the value.
Oh, yeah.
Activate Soulfire Grandmaster.
I think Owen's best play here is to just concede in response to not give Josh the satisfaction. Well, I guess
Small edge, but it's an edge.
Sorry, Chris is right, Pakula. It doesn't fork the dig; it just goes back to your hand. I'm counting it as double dig, but like, for some reason I thought Josh was actually doing both right now. Clearly, this is still great.
Oh yeah.
I still think Owen is a low enough percentage chance to win the game that I might not give Josh the satisfaction, but Owen doesn't actually concede, before the game is concluded. So this does not surprise me.
So Josh Layton resolving dig through time, looking at the top 7 cards, deciding which 2 he wants. Having forced Owen to block with Thunderbreak Regent last turn, he is set up to attack with Mantis Rider. Oh wow, he's got a Lightning Strike for the Rabble Master and a second Mantis Rider. Oh, by the way, the dig comes back to his hand for later. If there even is a later.
Jeskai Charm. I mean, Josh is just so far ahead here. Like,
yeah, I would think this is Lightning Strike plus Mantis Rider and just smash.
That's my first inclination as well. And then sets up next turn casting a Jeskai Charm as +1/+1. Like, you do know that like a Storm Breath Dragon is likely coming up. You could double Mantis Rider here, actually.
Is that better than clearing the Rabble Master?
Probably not. But
it's more mana.
Oh, actually, what I think I like the best is attack with everything and Jeskai Charm. Then you just guarantee to win the game, right? You can just put Rabble Master on top, and Owen is drawing it again. It just stops any top decks.
Well, he let him block with Rabble Master. It's probably not putting it on top.
Yeah, he's just
He's going to kill it this way. +1/+1. Okay, so here's Jeskai Charm. You give everybody +1/+1, which will kill the
Yeah,
Rabble Master.
yeah. If you top the Rabble Master, you get Owen then gets to Haven back Storm Breath, but you put Owen down to like 5. I mean, either way, Josh is going to
Yeah,
win this
yeah.
game. But I guess it's slightly better, I think, to top just because it plays around Owen drawing like. The thing is, they have deck lists. Josh knows Owen doesn't have main deck Anger the Gods or anything like that. So
Yeah, it's really Anger's about the only thing that could have messed him up there. So seeing the deck list makes his play safer.
yeah, I mean, this is just game here. Like Josh has just lethal just in play. Like he can just attack. And he's got lethal burn in hand. And he's got another dig through time. Somehow the second dig did not become relevant, which is not super surprising. Are we gonna have just 2 Jeskai decks in the finals?
It's looking like it. It could easily be Jeskai. I
Yeah.
mean, Josh is up a game. I don't know. Does sideboarding change this matchup dramatically? I guess Owen has access to Anger of the Gods, which seems pretty good here.
Anger is actually quite good against Josh's deck just because Josh has so many cards that die to it. But Rabble Master and Mana Strider, you don't have to play 3 to be good. You can play 1, and trading 1 Anger for 1 Rabble Master is not like an insane deal or anything. So
Sure. Can we look at the sideboards on screen maybe?
Yeah.
See what else is in there. All right, here's Josh.
He gets
What's
Disdainful
relevant?
Stroke, which I like against all the dragons. I mean, it does
Oh,
stop
sure.
Owen's actual threats, and he gets to trim down cards that don't do as much. Like Lightning Strike doesn't have any particularly great targets. On the other hand, Owen gets to add more removal spells. Maybe trim the removal spells to the ones he wants. Like Foul Tongue is good against the burn aspect. It's not great against the Rabble Master aspect here.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I could, Anger sounds like it's pretty reasonable. Ultimate Price maybe, yeah, that doesn't seem that good. It doesn't kill enough stuff, even though it does kill some of Josh's creatures here. So then Elspeth and Ugin, not really what you're looking for, I would not imagine here.
Sounds right.
So these decks don't trade or don't change all that much post board. I mean, I think Josh actually gets a little bit better because Disdainful Stroke is nice against the dragons, but for the most part, these are 2 pretty mid-rangey decks with a good mix of creatures and spells. So there's not like one axis you can attack them on that makes that they're super vulnerable about. So and they could sideboard a bunch of different ways because of that too. There's a lot of different ways, like different combinations of cards that you think are complementary in these matchups.
Owen Turnwald currently tied for first in the league. You can see that listed on the deck list, but will no longer be tied for first if he loses here. He's got to keep up with Jerry. 35 points is basically what you get for winning a week. Is a win and then a first round exit.
And that's what's happened so far.
All right, seems like we're just about ready for game 2. Yeah. They're almost done with their sideboarding time.
And it
Like
sounded
using it.
It sounded like Jerry was pretty ambivalent about which one he would rather play in the finals, just because, I think like Josh has a lot of cards that are actually pretty good in the matchup, but then Owen's deck is also look pretty solid. I mean, it's pretty close either way. It's not like Jerry's got a vested interest one way or the other. So at this
Who do
point,
you think's advantaged in this matchup? I mean, obviously, with Josh up a game, he's got the edge right now, but
I think that probably Josh is maybe slightly ahead. I don't know. It's close. I do like Disdainful Stroke, but here, see Owen has a hand of just Secret of the Ways and Burn spells. Like, actually, that's what they both have. Though Josh can't cast any of his spells. So
no white mana. Yeah, every card in his hand requires white or 4, and there aren't any planes. Oof, white card.
that's a kind of aggressive keep. Yeah,
Two lands, no white mana. You don't keep that.
I don't think so. The problem is if you don't draw white mana, you just can't do anything. And this isn't. I mean, it's not like Owen's deck is super fast, but it's also not glacially slow. Like if you miss,
Sure.
I don't know, you do get punished here.
You are on the draw, right? You have 2 draw phases before you even miss the white mana. But yeah, now he's 3 draw phases in, and basic. I mean, he's in a lot of trouble, obviously.
Well, the other thing is like I think part of the we have to look at here is that if you draw white mana, it's not like your hand is absurd. It's just decent. Like one planes and you're just casting one spell a turn, and they're not like super effective spells.
Now
So
here's white mana, but it comes into play tapped.
Owen can't actually activate the Seekers here, but as soon as Josh plays a creature, then the Seekers start getting bigger.
Yeah. He could Foul Tongue Invocation for no effect other than triggering
Deal
prowess.
two. Yes, he could. I don't think he's going to.
I don't think so either. It is a play that comes up sometimes in Standard. Obviously, if you have the Dragon reveal, sometimes you're just desperate to gain the life. Not really an interaction that matters here. Oh, wow. Now Josh gets to do multiple things.
Wild Slash not bad.
No, that
So
seems like a great card here. The timing is a little tricky, right? Because he kind of
yeah.
wants to trigger prowess and be able to block with a 3/3 Seeker, but he's got to put Owen on having some number of spells in his hand to trigger his own prowess.
Looks like Josh is going to go for the high value play that may or may not get rewarded because he's going to play Soulfire Grandmaster. Hope it's in play when the Wild Slash resolves. Oh, Owen did board an Elspeth. That's interesting. So Josh is going to respond with a Wild Slash.
All right, here's Draconic Roar targeting Soulfire Grandmaster.
I wouldn't be surprised if Owen responded with one of his spells here. Just because it's like casting a Hasted Seeker the way. You might as well. And it also makes it so Josh doesn't gain the 2 off Wild Slash.
Yeah, Josh trying to kill that Seeker before it grows to 3/3 from the prowess triggers. And Owen is going to respond to that because this effectively saves his Seeker, turning it into a 3/3 before the Wild Slash resolves. Now he's spent 2 removal spells to kill 1 Soulfire Grandmaster, but he's effectively traded his 2 removal spells for the Wild Slash and the Grandmaster. Plus Crunch, take 8.
Put Josh to 2, which actually just ends things because Josh can play a Seeker, but then Owen can just attack.
Yeah, no spell available for Josh to trigger prowess, so Sketchy Keep is sketchy. Didn't find the white man in time to do anything. Owen's just going to use Draconic Roar to both clear a path and also kill Josh.
Yeah, overkill Josh by a decent amount there.
Yeah. So we go to game 3.
Yeah, I mean, that was not a particularly interactive game, but that's what happens when you keep a hand that needs to draw a certain thing and misses on it.
Yeah, but I mean, where a lot of Magic skill comes down to making judgment calls like that, right?
Yeah.
You would have mulliganed that hand? I mean, you're pretty liberal in terms of keeping hands, too, yeah?
I had been, but I still don't particularly like that hand. I just don't think the reward is there. I don't mind keeping a one-line hand or or a hand that needs one particular thing if the reward is there, but the problem is, the way Paulo would describe it in the articles he's been writing about keeping or mulliganing is you're not 70% to win the game because that's what what it takes to hit, or 60% to win the game. You're 60% to get to play the game. And if you don't hit, you just lose. And if you do hit, you get to play a game of Magic. That's not a great position to be in. It's not like you kept a one-land Stony Silence hand against Affinity where if you hit, you're in a great shape.
Got it. I'll buy that. Jerry Thompson waiting in the finals for the winner of this. We got one game to find out whether it's going to be Josh Layton or Owen Turtenwald playing against him.
Yeah.
What do you think the success of these Jeskai decks says? I mean, is this just a place in the standard metagame where there's an opportunity to show up with new tech?
I just think Jeskai has been, again, good or close enough to good that it doesn't surprise me that it's doing well in this particular event here. Like, myself, Huey, and Owen played Jeskai, a very similar, like, mid-range-ish Jeskai deck with, like, Mana Strider and Rabble Master, and in Grand Prix Memphis, and Owen lost, at 11-2, presumably playing for, like, either the chance to play for top 8 or the chance to draw in a top 8. So it's not like Jeskai wasn't a deck. It's just it's not been played as much as a lot of these other decks, because these decks have, they do have cards like Siege Rhino, and they've gotten cards like Death Protector and Den Protector and Death Mist Raptor, whereas Jeskai hasn't been the recipient of quite such generous gifts recently.
Although, yeah, I mean, I think the presence of all of those sort of mid-rangey, sort of slow, grindy green cards, that does seem like it opens up a spot for Mantis Rider to just fly over.
Yeah, Mantis Rider also is very much dependent on what removal is getting played. If the more Bioblights and Draconic Roars there are, the less Mantis Rider is good. But the more people playing like Ultimate Price, the better Mantis Rider gets. Even Hero's Downfall is not spectacular against Mantis Rider. Often it just gets to take a free hit in.
All right. One game for spot in the finals. This time Josh has no blue mana, but he does have 3 lands and no blue spells in his hand, so
Oh yeah,
that's like a much safer keep. Yeah,
Josh's hand is
it's
great.
yeah, it's
Owen's
actually
hand is the
good.
one that is a little less exciting.
Fair. So
Hmm.
he's on the draw with Battlefield Forge. Okay, he cashes it in.
Yeah, I don't like Owen's hand. Owen's new hand is actually pretty good for a mulligan, especially since he gets to go Temple of Silence into Haven for ultimate price, and then potentially into Crackling Doom into Outpost Siege. So Owen does need to scry into a mana of some kind. Pretty much any of the colors works. Yeah, he bins Thunderbreak Regent, which is good. He wants to be able to play Crackling Doom on 3 here.
All right. Josh goes for Seeker of the Way. He's got multiple spells ready to trigger it potentially.
I like playing Battlefield Forge here. It gives you the chance to ultimate price a Goblin Rabble Master, and it also lets you, if Josh plays like a Mantis Rider, you can just ultimate price the Seeker. You don't have the land. The question here, and this is why Owen is thinking, is you don't have the land to play Crackling Doom next turn. Haven does not do that.
But if
But
he played the Temple, he could set up the Crackling Doom at the cost of not being able to ultimate price.
right, I like playing it this way, and it's actually going to work out very well.
Yeah, there is the Rabble Master. Owen does get to ultimate price it. Now, does he get paid off by a top deck land? Well, no, not quite.
No,
Although,
but
no complaints, right?
no, this is Owen's in good shape here. He's gonna, bin Kolagon. He's not really well. Actually, he might keep it. He's got the 4th land for Outpost Siege, which will find lands. Actually, wouldn't be surprised if Owen kept Kolagon. Now that I think about it, I mean, he did end up putting it on the bottom, but it's a little closer than the first time where he saw Thunderbreak region. So even though Josh did draw the island here that he needed to,
Mm-hmm.
uh, Owen's still gonna get to ultimate price the Seeker, untap Crackling Doom the Mantis Rider, and then follow up with Outpost Siege, hopefully.
All right, Mantis Rider and attack for Josh. There's the ultimate price. Mantis Rider drops Owen. I mean, he's still at 15 too. It's not like Josh has managed to get much damage through.
Yeah,
Haven off the top for Owen, so he's got land number 5.
Owen's done a pretty good job of just killing everything Josh has before it can really do all that much.
Yep.
Josh needs a second blue to really get Dig going. That's how he gets uh, into better shape here. Because even though he is attacking here, Owen's just going to kill it, and then Josh is going to get to, I guess, play Soulfire Grandmaster. At that point, if I'm Owen, I think I can relax for a turn and to take a turn off of casting removal to cast Outpost Siege. It's just so much more of a reward to just be sitting there with Outpost Siege in play. Would be annoying if Josh had a Disdainful Stroke here, but I don't know if you can play around that.
Mm. Yeah, Owen. Yeah, those are basically the choices: either Crackling Doom to kill the Grandmaster, or Outpost Siege plus the Temple.
I'd rather play Outpost Siege, and I'd rather just lead with Outpost Siege, see if it gets countered. If it does, play Temple, and you have better information. But Josh is also a few mana short of having Soulfire Grandmaster as an actual way to draw the spells again to buy back spells. So
Right.
I think letting Owen or letting Josh untap with Soulfire Grandmaster does seem reasonable. Owen takes 2 points of damage, but he only saves 1 damage if he casts Crackling Doom actually, because he takes damage off Battlefield Forge. Yeah, I would just cast Outpost Siege here.
Looks like Owen agrees with you. Outpost Siege. Now he's worried about Disdainful Stroke. He sees Disdainful Stroke mana on Josh's side of the table.
And Josh hasn't drawn blue mana, and like he drew blue mana like fairly recently, so
right. Josh paused. Josh thought about it. Right? He had to represent. Oh, maybe I have Disdainful Stroke, but I'm waiting for something better. I don't think Owen's buying it.
Owen's not going to buy that. All right, well, Mystic Monastery makes this an interesting game because now, even though Owen's drawing 2 a turn and Josh doesn't really have a way to ever remove that, Josh does get to play dig through time next turn, so and has 5 points of burn with a Soulfire Grandmaster in play. So Josh has a significant life total advantage. Owen has the long game advantage, but is not, he's not in a position where he's just crushing it.
Foul Tongue Invocation is the revealed card. Maybe we can get Owen's revealed zone opened up.
Yeah, so he reveals Foul Tongue to Outpost Siege. Kind of unfortunate to spend your whole turn casting it when you could cast an Elspeth, but I think getting the free card is worth it. And Soulfire Grandmaster in play is getting more dangerous the more lands Josh plays.
All true. He gets to leave up Crackling Doom, right?
He does. And Josh could, if he wanted, Owen really wanted to draw a land this turn, or a dragon this turn, by the way, to reveal to Foul Tongue. But Josh could, if he wants to just fire off a Lightning Strike to make dig cheaper and gain 3 life while the Soulfire is in play. That's not reasonable, but I don't think that the 3 life is super relevant. So it's more, do you think you're going to need the mana to cast dig next turn?
Josh is thinking about it.
If you cast strike and slash, you get to dig for 2 mana, leaving 3 mana up, which means you can find a Rabble Master and attack with it. It's not irrelevant. And Owen's kind of at the point where he doesn't, he clearly doesn't have anything that you can target with those cards anyway.
No drag for the life gain. Josh is thinking, 12? Maybe I can get to 12.
If you're looking at digging into burn spells, then you might as well just cast your burn spells now.
Makes sense. There's the Lightning Strike. Drops Owen to 9. Josh gains the 3 life. Is he going to do the Wild Slash as well? No, just the 1. So that's a 3 mana dig through time.
With 4 points of burn in hand against Owen at 5 or 9 here. So Owen's essentially at 5, so can dig up, 5 points of damage. Not unreasonable to do so.
He is going to main phase the dig, it looks like.
Yeah, I like just exiling a whole graveyard. This isn't a game where a second dig is like going to be that crucial, and you want to be able to leave up both Wild Slashes. You also could potentially dig into like Lightning Strike. See what Josh ends up with here. Looks like Stoke the Flames is the burn spell, and then a second dig through time. So we're just on the dig into burn spells plan, which I think is actually going to work. Given that Josh was able to find the second blue to cast the first dig, that is going to carry him to victory. Owen really needed to gain life off the Foul Tongue. Not that he ever had the opportunity to, but he needs to draw basically life gain cards to win the long game here.
He draws a second Elspeth.
Yeah, which is nice, but it's not going to outrace Josh's burn spells. Josh technically, is only 1 point short, and It's not going to be that hard for him to find the last burn spell with the dig through time, which he can double Wild Slash. He can cast the dig next turn. I expect to see 2 Wild Slashes pointed at Owen in a turn.
Yeah, there's Elspeth from Owen. He makes 3 tokens. During his end step, Josh can fire off both of those Wild Slashes. They both deal damage and put cards in the graveyard for delve on dig through time. Take 2. Oh, he only fires 1. Doesn't want to take the damage off Battlefield Forge, I guess.
Huh.
Or he's holding 1 against potential Rabble Master.
Maybe. I think that, Josh ended up drawing the land, so it worked out, but I think he really wanted to.
Yeah, it was the difference between being able to dig right and not.
I guess he could also have just cast Stoke slash that turn, so it actually makes sense. This way he still has the opportunity to cast dig if he wants. He can actually slash into dig, but I guess his plan initially was just to Stoke. Secret of the Way means that Josh needs, if he doesn't find the burn spells, presumably Owen's going to use the Secret of the Ways to win the game next turn.
Now, does Owen play the Secret from his hand as well? He's played the one that he got from the Outpost Siege, but he also drew one with his draw phase. He's leaving up 5 mana right now, so he's got.
Owen's decision is whether he wants to leave up Seeker or leave up Crackling Doom, and because if he casts the Seeker, he does lose to a Mantis Rider. Though, actually,
what
Owen
does Seeker and leave up Crackling Doom, right?
Yeah, Owen just doesn't know that Josh has 6 points of burn, which Josh, I assume, is going to just cast an Owen now, and then he can cast a 4 mana dig to find a Lightning Strike or a Wild Slash. This is gonna be pretty close, but Josh very much can't win any sort of fair game here. So I think Josh should just go for the burn plan.
And realistically, Owen's going to gain life next turn with those Seekers.
Yeah, you can assume that's just automatically true.
Right. So Josh, burn his face. Here comes 4 from Stoke the Flames. I presume he's going to target Owen. Sure looks like they're out to victory. Does target Owen. Owen down to 3. And now, yeah, here's the wild slash. Owen down to 1. Can Josh find the last burn spell he needs?
He could also find like land Mantis Rider. Well, he found the land, so now he just has to find.
Land. Dig is going to cost what, 4?
Yeah, so Josh needs to find Mantis Rider, Lightning Strike, or Wild Slash. I think those are the only cards that does it.
Yep, 7 cards. What does he see?
Wild
Wild
there's a Wild
slash.
Slash. And a
Wow.
Mantis Rider. And a Stoke the Flames.
Stoke would not have done.
Yep.
Also Mantis Rider, but yeah. Stoke was not good enough. Mantis Rider, though, is.
Yeah. Turns out Wild Slash will do it.
What a game.
Yeah, this game was actually very close despite Owen being at 1 to Josh's 20. Owen was just going to win the game next turn, essentially.
Yes. Yeah, but he doesn't. Josh Utter-Leighton, dig for burn spell and dig through time, dig for burn spell, unloads everything. Owen couldn't find any life. If Owen had drawn a dragon, he's got, what, a dozen dragons in his list? There's so many dragons in that Marty
Yeah,
dragon.
he has like 10 dragons.
Yeah, and that Foul Tongue Invocation just failed to gain him any life. If he'd gained 4 off the Foul Tongue Invocation, he would have won the game. If he'd gotten an attack in with Seeker, he would have won the game. But none of these things happened. Looks like a Jeskai versus Jeskai fight in the finals this week.
It does, and it's going to end up coming down. I think Wild Slash is going to play a pretty big part in this. Josh has access to a lot of Wild Slashes.
Sure. I would like to talk to Josh before we get to the final. We haven't had a lot of opportunity to talk to Josh so far. He hasn't been playing this deep in, but take the opportunity while we get it. See if we can chat with Josh, and then get him and Jerry set up to play the finals. Wow, Jeskai versus Jeskai. All right, let's look at the bracket and see how we got here while we get Josh on the line. Josh Utter-Leighton, there you see the top of the bracket. He took out Bant Heroic in the first round. I think Bant Heroic is actually 0-2 now. It's one of the few archetypes that's been run more than once. 20 different archetypes by my count across the 24 possible deck lists. I think you're trying to convince me these 2 decks in the finals are both Jeskai mid-range and that it's 19. I don't know. We'll see how this plays out. But yeah, Josh winning there over Bant Heroic. Owen, Brian Kibler showed up with a pretty cool mono green deck. I think he's also published a video on it on Star City today. The deck looks fun, but it could not operate without green mana. Somehow mono color, and he still got color screwed. Owen dispatched him, but then you just saw lost a super close game 3 to Josh Utter-Leighton in the semis.
Yeah, and that match came down to like Owen drawing Battlefield Forge instead of like Mountain, for example.
Yeah, no, that sounds about right. Bottom half of the bracket, Jerry Thompson and his Jeskai deck. He beat Andrew Cuneo largely on Stratus Dancer.
Yeah, Stratus Dancer did a lot of work. I mean, game 2 rather, Jerry just played 2 Stratus Dancers and that was it.
Yeah, the other match down there, Paul, Jeskai Dragon. So we did have a Jeskai deck that lost. Brad finally got on the scoreboard, knocking off Paul before losing to Jerry in the semis. But now let's talk to Josh. Hey, Josh, how you doing?
Hey guys, doing pretty good. Had a nice little sweat at the end of that game.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, talk us through those last turns in your mind. When, how did you see everything shaping up?
As soon as he cast the siege, my plan from that point was just to burn him out completely. So
okay.
Yeah, I mean, you can never win a long game against a siege, and then his deck's better in a long game anyway. So
right. I mean, that's what my deck does anyway. It's a burn deck. So.
Yeah. So yeah, tell us about the deck. Where did this come from? What do you think is the inherent sort of role in the metagame for a deck like what you're running?
Sure. I mean, this deck's been around since the format first started back in Pro Tour Hawaii. It was the deck I played there, and it's the deck I played the most in Standard. And I really like the deck. It's awesome. It gets to play so many different kinds of games. Like, often it's just a burn deck, but often it gets to be like a control deck or a tempo deck. So I just like that you get like a large variety of different kinds of games to play with the deck, and it's not always easy to figure out what you should be doing.
And it's also not easy for the opponent too, since
Yeah, yeah. Your cards
if
are really flexible.
yeah,
So
if they ever don't have a removal spell, Mana Strider or Rabble Master or even Seeker can just almost kill them. But they can just die with 3 removal spells in hand if you're in the like stoke you dig, stoke you phase.
yeah, exactly.
Now, it looked to me like you have it configured a little more on the aggressive side for game one. Is that a fair characterization?
Yeah, that's definitely true. And I think that's the right way to build it. Like often you'll want to board into a more controlling deck, but it's really hard to have like a deck built so that you can have like the right answers to present against everybody. So it's much better to just try to kill everyone.
Yeah, Heel Cutter's a nice one. He expected a lot of Siege Rhinos.
Yeah, I mean it is definitely targeting towards green decks. That's where that card would shine. But that's also like the biggest like problem for the deck is Siege Rhinos. So it's kind of like a hedge against that. And like Hill Cutter is just a really good Magic card, and I think it should see a lot more constructed play than it does.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible and limited. I have to admit, every time my opponent has dashed out a Heel Cutter against me and constructed, I have lost. So, like, because I frequently play decks that aren't good against mono red, and Heel Cutter is actually pretty effective. It just gets, you're sitting on Drowned in Sorrow, and you're gonna kill their 3-drop, and then they just go 2-drop into Heel Cutter, and you take 5, and you're like, wait. So,
Yeah, as far as how Jeskai fits in the metagame, I think the deck's just still really good. And the real reason like it got knocked down before is that it was not particularly good against Esper. Though you could certainly build the deck to be better there. The basically you just can't like the burn spells aren't good there because the Esper deck now is actually really good at not getting burned out, just between having so many counter spells and edicts. So basically, Jeskai is good when you aren't expecting a lot of Esper though, so, which seems to have been the case for the standard Super League.
Yeah, not a lot of control. Have you looked at Jerry's list yet?
Yeah, I looked at it a little bit. Have not really studied it yet though.
Okay, yeah, we actually got it up on screen now. That Luis and I have been going back and forth on whether he's playing the same deck you are. I'm counting so many cards that are different. Although, I mean, obviously they're both fundamentally Jeskai decks. Mantis Rider, Rabble Master, sure.
Yeah, I would describe them as very similar decks. I would say they're basically the same deck, except his is skewed more controlling and mine's skewed more aggressive.
yeah,
Sure.
Jerry has 3 or 4 more controlling cards and you have 3 or 4 more aggressive cards or whatever the actual number is like, but I think they're the same like archetype though. I mean they do play differently. Ojutai's Command and Stratus Dancer play differently than Goblin Heel Cutter. So
Yeah, so
and like Jeskai Charm.
I
Do
do
you,
think
do you,
his
do
list
you
is
have,
better configured for the mirror though.
he's better configured?
I think so, yeah.
You do
What?
have Wild Slash. That card does seem pretty effective in this particular matchup, but cards like Ojutai's Command and Hordeling Outburst are pretty annoying too.
Yeah, the way the mirror usually plays, it'll often be like kind of draw go-ish, and he's just so much better set up for that kind of game.
Interesting. Oh, that makes sense. Well, good luck to you. I'm sure it feels good to get a couple wins under your belt, get to the finals here.
Yeah, well, there's always Jeskai. Can always play that.
Fair enough.
Don't worry, I'll be back to Bad Brews again next week.
Well, we've certainly enjoyed the brews that you've been bringing the last couple of weeks. I think mixing it up also makes a lot of sense, but I've certainly enjoyed watching what you've cooked up. We are going to let you go get ready for the finals. I know you got to get configured to go play Jerry in the finals. We're going to take a real quick break, guys. We will be back momentarily. We got one match left in Standard Super League. Is it going to be Josh Utter-Layton winning week 3, or is it going to be Jerry trying to take a second first place? Stay tuned.